Happy New Year, everyone. My name is Lizette.
Happy New Year, my name is Geoff.
And we are Marx Culinary, and we are back to our lives.
We're back.
And it's Saturday, in case anyone was wondering.
It
on
is.
the 8th. And today we are going to be making a green soup called Bieler Broth, which is super delicious.
Yeah.
Believe it or not.
If you don't follow the original recipe.
Yes, so long as you don't follow. I know, exactly. So
Trust us.
yeah, so what's a Bieler Broth?
Bieler Broth, named after Dr. Henry Bieler.
Yes.
Turn of last century. He was a doctor, but he got more into nutrition, as he was one of those people who saw people getting sick, eating too much processed food once processed food started happening. And he told people to eat more vegetables, and he noticed people all of a sudden had a super high sodium, refined sodium diet, so he was really into potassium. So this is a potassium-rich broth that he prescribed for his patients. He was considered a quack because, you know, if you tell people to eat vegetables, you're a quack.
Wasn't he around the time that Kellogg, wasn't it Kellogg?
Around that time, yeah.
The guy who developed Kellogg cereal, he had like a retreat.
Yeah.
There was this funny movie with Matthew Broderick in it.
It's a true story.
I know.
Yeah,
It was an amazing story. People ate cereal and Kellogg cereal as a part of their regimen for cleansing, and it's kind of weird that they did that. But they
So
did.
the ingredients for it are green beans, zucchini, and celery. So very potassium rich, and water. Boil it and then blend it, and that's it.
Yeah.
So it's like, no. So
I mean,
we take those things and
okay.
we do stuff to it, you know,
Yes.
to give it flavor, because there's nothing wrong with sea salt and butter and garlic, and you can mutate it in a good direction still to give it great flavor, but you're still getting the benefit of the original idea. So that's kind of
that's sort of our thing. We want to make healthy, delicious, and we want you to enjoy the soup. If you're deciding that, you know, maybe it's always like you look back on the very last month of the last year, and you're thinking, oh my gosh, why did I do that? Or maybe I was overdoing it. And then January is always that time where people start to cleanse and start something new, turn over a new leaf.
Yeah.
And then there's a whole other group of people that are like, I'm not doing that. I'm going to always be well. I'm always going to eat well. And it's not about just 1 month or 2 weeks cleansing and going on these fad diets. And I think we're more the other way, like make it a part of your everyday life.
Yeah, and then there's a third group who just doubled down and said, I'm not going to pay attention to what month
exactly.
it is, and I'm gonna do DoorDash because it's awesome.
And it's and it's convenient. And but do they make Bieler Broth for DoorDash? Like, does DoorDash offer
If they
Bieler Broth?
if they don't, we should do it, and we'll get no orders.
Oh no!
Unless we do it this way, because
Yes.
we're going to show you how to make something that's really nutrient dense and good, and make it something that you'd actually want to make and eat.
Yes, and you can play around with the ingredients, so long as you kind of stay in, the healthy ingredient category. And then there's a way to build flavor while you're doing this. So I want to introduce you to a few little extra things, because like Geoff was saying, it's mainly celery, the zucchini, and the green beans. And of course, zucchini is not even in season, but if you can find some organic zucchini, do find it. You could also replace this with something else if you want to.
Just as long as it's green and
and not too starchy, more watery.
Yeah, right.
I would say maybe like you could do celery root or something like that. I mean, I have to think about that, because I mean, you could do other things, turnips, but that might be turnips kind of have this flavor that's a little bit turnipy.
A little too turnipy.
yeah. So, but anyway, we added onion because onions are delicious, and when you saute them, we're going to start this by sauteing the onions and the celery. So we're going to do that. It's like kind of half the mirepoix.
2/3.
2/3. Oh, right, it's not half. So, and then we're going to add some turmeric, because I have some leftover fresh turmeric. So I thought, well, let's add some, and I have these already pre-cut. I usually keep them in the freezer when I do it this way, so that I can just toss them into my smoothies or whatever I want. So we're going to add that in there. And you can also do the same thing with ginger, because ginger would be good.
Sure, absolutely.
Yeah. And then I'm going to throw in, while the broth is cooking, a little kombu, because kombu in a mineral broth will add more wonderful minerals. And the whole idea of this soup is also it's mineral rich.
It's entirely a mineral broth because you're simmering it. You're going to lose most of the vitamins. If you want the vitamins, get them from a salad, something that's less cooked or not cooked at all. So this is very much potassium forward and other trace minerals that you keep in the broth, and then when you blend it, you add some of the broth. So that's the whole idea.
And then I thought, well, Geoff, what if we did some spices? So I was thinking maybe some whole spices, because we're going to blend this soup later. Maybe some fennel seed, which is really good for digestion, and calming too to the digestion. And then cumin seed, also another good digestive.
Delicious,
It's wonderful. And then you can even do coriander. So those are three that I just pulled out of our spice cabinet. And then I also have this really cool product called, it's an organic seaweed salt. And we want to put a touch of salt in here just to bring out those flavors. And so why not, if you find a good product, like this one has a little seaweed in it, so you're going to get the saltiness from seaweed and all the minerals there.
Yeah.
So, sound like a good plan?
Absolutely.
Shall we get going?
Start cutting.
Okay, so I'm going to start cutting. Okay, so when you cut the onion, you don't really need to cut it into tiny little mirepoix pieces.
Because we're blending it.
Because we're blending it. So just get it a good cut. So I'm just going to...
One thing to think about, if for some reason you want to practice knife skills, because this is a broth that you're going to blend, you don't have to make fine cuts, but it's always a good, if you don't do it a lot and you want to work on it, it's a great way to practice. You could practice any kind of cut and then just throw them in here.
So I have a question for you that maybe our audience wants to know. What about fat? What about adding fat like coconut oil or olive oil to the soup? Is that okay? Are we still cleansing, or what are we doing? Is that okay?
Well, I say if you want to be, for that matter, you have people who are very strict, and they would say you can't add don't even add sea salt.
I know.
But I don't understand that, because that doesn't make sense, really, from in terms of biochemistry. Sea salt is not something that's going to stop your body from, like, your organs from helping to clear any toxins, if there are toxins that you're exposed to. So I say add butter, or and make it taste good, whatever you want to do. Add a
So
little
you kind of
tiny
make
garlic.
it a naughty Bieler broth.
Well, I would say just make it taste good. And
Yes,
because you're still getting all the benefits, but
Yes.
you make it something that you actually want to eat,
That's
or that
right.
you would serve to people, and they go, hey, it's like
And
a little
then-
green soup, good.
Right, and you can
Yeah.
have a little bit of this every day. So you're going to make enough to have some every day, and if you decide to also do things like intermittent fasting and other things that you want to play around with in terms of trying to clean your diet up and just trying to do less than excess, you could actually, the soup will be good enough to have during several meals if you want to kind of go a little more strict with yourself, not so punishing. Because I think the original version is a bit, it's joyless.
This is Bieler 3.0.
Bieler
because
3.0.
you want to go with coconut oil?
I'm going to go with, is that okay?
Yeah, I'm just saying.
Okay,
It's
so
like,
I'm going to go with coconut oil just because I just thought we did a little butter and olive oil last time, so let's try coconut oil. I think that'll be good. And with the spices we have here.
and at the end, you could even add some coconut milk and make it so it's a little bit more rich and creamy too, as well.
That sounds so good.
You could then put in lemongrass and galangal and that kind of stuff, and
Wow.
so you can do anything you want.
Yeah, and what's nice about coconut oil, any of you who don't know much about it, it's a saturated fat and it's high in lauric acid, and it's also very, a lot of the literature says it's very anti-inflammatory, it's antifungal, it helps boost your immune system, it helps help your metabolism, so it's a great fact to include. Hear that sizzle. Okay, so let me just cut the rest of this. And I'm just, like I said, just a rough chop. And because I'm still not able to figure out if you guys are even here watching, if anyone's here, if you have questions, put them down below.
Oh, they're
I'll
all
get to
here.
them later. If you're watching the replay, please hit #replay, let us know. And while we're making soup, I also wanted to share with you that we also have a soup cooking workshop next weekend online. So you can come from the comfort of your own kitchen. You can cook with us, or you can just watch us cook and then cook later. We'll give you recipes if you sign up, so you can make these soups that we have on the menu. another time. So it's kind of a cool thing. We're going to start our cooking class series next weekend called Soup Weather Cooking. So how many celeries? I guess we're just going to judge, right?
Maybe 3,
Maybe
like,
about
yeah.
these two.
I put more than we need, but
And the celery is because it's so rich in potassium.
potassium
Right?
bomb.
It's a potassium bomb. Now, some people like celery juice, but I can't imagine honestly having celery juice in January. It's too cold.
Yeah.
I like the idea of this broth. What's really nice is it has all the greens that you want to include in a alkalinizing food, but it's not as cold as juicing, and because it still has the fiber in it, it's a little bit, takes a little longer to metabolize, so I think it's,
I'll put
I
the
think
rest
it's a
of
better
these
idea.
celeries over here.
Yeah, you want to put them there, and I'm
You
going
can
to
stuff
add,
the jukes.
yeah, I'm going to add like 3 of these. I'm going to save some of this for a little bit of probably golden milk or something like that. So golden milk is turmeric, coconut milk, spices, a little black pepper. It's delicious. It's a very healing little beverage. We'll do a live on that at another time because there's a lot of ways that you can make it. It's a very popular beverage.
This is so not a Bieler broth. This is,
I know. What are we
by
making?
even using the
We're
word
making
Bieler,
green.
it's
Sorry,
we're
Dr.
gonna get
Bieler.
dinged on
Don't
truth
get
and
mad at us.
advertising.
I know. It's like, this is not Bieler Broth, guys. It's like,
We're gonna-
okay, this is, you know what this is?
They're gonna shut our Facebook down.
No,
We're gonna get
this
kicked
is
off
the
Facebook.
Marx Culinary green soup. I gotta think of a better title. Geoff and Lizette's.
Well, I don't think the word
Potassium bomb.
Bieler is a big flag word in terms of
No.
getting reviewed for
Geoff and
misinformation.
Lizette's cleansing potassium bomb. Okay, you guys are gonna have to help us out with a soup name, because I think we're just making a new recipe here. But we are inspired by
It's a
Dr.
marketing
Bieler.
disaster.
I know. We are inspired by Dr. Bieler because, I mean, he started this whole idea.
He was a maverick.
He was a maverick.
Well, you know what? He was kind of like Jack LaLanne is to exercise in some ways, because Jack LaLanne was considered to be just crazy because he was telling people to exercise. And
He's
wow,
so crazy.
well, yeah,
How long did he live?
he was 96, I think, when
Yeah,
he
not
passed.
bad, not a bad run. And he was healthy. He was like a healthy guy. He wasn't.
He was still swimming in the bay, like pulling like a submarine with his teeth
When did he do that?
when he was like
When he was
80 or
90?
something. No, seriously, he
Seriously? Oh my
He
god.
put something around, and he was swimming in the bay here. So the guy was amazing.
Yeah. I remember when I was growing up and I used to see his exercise show and he'd do all these things with chairs, with a
Yeah,
chair.
yeah,
And I'm thinking, the original chair yoga guy,
yeah,
in many ways. Okay, so these green beans, can I just
yeah.
like rough chop?
The only reason you cut them up is to make it easier when you're putting it into the blender, so it doesn't, you know.
Just hold your hand on the top of the spine of the knife, the spine of this knife. And then we got a few here that are longish. Let me just do this. I know, it's very rough, but you know what? You don't have to have like
No
big
one will
nice
ever
things.
know.
No one will ever know. It's all getting blended later. Okay, so green beans go in. Boom. Okay. And can I add a little spices?
Go for it, because
Okay.
we're all, this is
So-
mutato.
Okay, so now as Geoff's doing that, I'm going to add some fennel seeds. So this is about maybe half a teaspoon of that. Do you want the cumin?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, you love cumin. I like fennel. He likes cumin.
We'll have to remove the cumin though.
You want to remove the cumin or do
No,
you want to
remove the fennel. Yeah,
Oh, you're not a fennel guy, right?
it's
I mean,
okay.
you like it.
It'll be all right.
It's okay. You'll like it. You like it because I put it in. The coriander, I like coriander because of the little, well, I like coriander. It's the seed of the cilantro. So it's got a little, it's bright.
It's the seed of the cilantro, she says.
It is. It's the seed of the cilantro. Okay, now we need a little salt, so I'm going to add just a little bit of salt.
Yeah.
And we're going to do the seaweed salt here, and this is basically sea salt and seaweed. And the seaweed is dulse flakes and kelp. So just a little bit. And what that does is going to pull moisture out of these vegetables and flavor that moisture as it goes back in. It's kind of a neat scientific thing to know about. Then we're going to add the kombu. So this is a big piece of kombu. Okay, so just like once this gets in the water, it's going to like become a big sheet. So I'm just going to,
Haven't put it in the water yet.
which I will do. That wasn't useful. I need a pair of scissors. Oh, there we go. Just squirt it a little bit. In it goes. And then, when do you want me to add the water now?
Why not?
Okay. So I'll add the water in, and then we'll bring this to a boil. So I have about 2 quarts. That's 8 cups. And I just want to just cover it. You can always add more water later. And again, if you decided you wanted to, say, maybe add coconut milk later to make this richer, creamier soup, feels more like a meal that way, then you can do that during the blending process. So the next part of this, and because like TV, we already have a broth made, and we're going to show you how to blend that. So if you don't have a high-speed blender, you can use a immersion blender and just blend right in the pot. We're going to use a high-speed blender like this Vitamix. And oh, do you have it? You're going to add vegetable. Do you want me to get your label to add some stock?
Okay, let's put those solids in.
Okay.
This one's more straight. This one's less fancy, but it just gives you a. It's just for visual effects. These are visual effects.
These are. Yeah, this isn't actually happening.
No, it's all green screen. We're not even here.
Yeah, we're not here. We're CG.
So.
Okay, so this one is the classic. Does it have onion in it?
No, this is
Oh my God,
this is complete classic.
This is classic Bieler, but we
But it
just
has a
want
little
to show you
salt.
what you do.
It
A
has
little bit of salt. So not
get some
Bieler
little
with
water.
a Bieler with a twist, whereas this one that we just made,
Sea salt, that is.
sea salt, of course.
Just
always
to
sea salt.
clarify.
Yeah. And you know, if you do want to be a little more pure and just make your standard Bieler broth, totally understand, especially if you're like, I don't know. Sometimes if it's too flavorful, people worry about triggering other appetites for other foods. You know, that really depends on the person. It really does. So I don't think there's anything wrong with the plain straight up Bieler broth with a touch of sea salt. This is going to be delicious. This is going to be even better. So, yeah.
Totally different.
Oh,
But
let me just pull this out a little bit. Alright, so you just place this right here. Okay, so when you ever have anything hot, put a towel over the top of the blender so that if it does, pulse up, you don't burn the bottom of your hand. Start on the lowest setting if you have a variable speed blender. Hopefully you do. Okay, so this is our broth. Do we have that ladle? I just want to show how smooth it is. The ladle? Oh. So the broth is nice and smooth, and we'll taste it. Okay. At this, and it's got a good. I don't know if you can see that, but when I pour it back in.
from your vantage point, it probably looks like kind of like split pea soup.
Yes. Yeah. It looks probably like split pea soup. Here I am pouring it in. Isn't that yummy?
Cooked it with a ham hock and
Yeah,
the split
right.
peas and carrots.
And then there we are. Okay, so now we're going to taste it. So I'm going to give you a little bit, huh?
That's a really big spoon.
I know.
Okay.
How is it? Just plain old green soup?
It's pretty plain. Yeah, but
But I like it.
it's it gives you inspiration because it has potential to do something like this.
What we're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
And you can also do it after the fact. if you serve that with a knob of butter and a little garlic powder,
Mhm.
little cracked pepper, and it would be good.
It would be delicious.
It doesn't need too much to bring it into like, hey, this is good.
You could do a little swirl of olive oil too if you don't want to do butter, or you could do a little bit of coconut oil. You could add ghee if you want that buttery kind of
Little
that
lemon
flavor.
zest on top.
Oh, lemon zest would be good.
Yeah.
A touch of this would be good
Little
with
creme
a little touch
fraiche.
of lemon. Now we're talking.
Yeah.
Are we even cleansing? I don't know. But this is a healthy soup. It's super healthy. And if you had this throughout the week and you made it weekly, and this reminds me of another type of dietary soup, and it's from the French Paradox, that book, The French Paradox. No, that's not a book. It's a little book about how the French eat. And it was designed, I think, for people who were, trying to lose weight or just kind of detox a little bit. And every weekend in this book, you make this leek soup. It's leek and celery. Basically, it's like a Bieler Broth. Doesn't have, and then you blend it up just like this, and then you drink it all weekend, and that's all you have. Which, if you want to do that, and sometimes it's honestly, I think it's kind of fun sometimes taking a break from your normal routine and cleaning up. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with saying, you know what, I'm not gonna eat, I'm gonna do intermittent fasting, and you stay consistent with it. Or if you say, I'm not gonna eat after 6 anymore, or I'm gonna do Bieler Broth all week long, or make my modified, Geoff and Lizette's green soup, which is super yummy, all week, and just make that kind of a mainstay so that I can recalibrate my system, feel better, feel less inflamed. I mean, really that's the goal, because it's just, this is all about feeling better, and while you're trying to feel better and get healthier, you're not sacrificing the joy of food, the joy of flavor.
It's the whole idea.
Yeah. All right.
There it is.
That's it. So this cooks for just about 30 minutes, 30 to, I would say 40 minutes, and then you take it off the heat, you blend it just like we did here, and then add those other extras if you'd like. If you have any more questions about it, you can certainly, like I said, just send us your question below, and we're happy, we'll check in and we'll answer them. And don't forget, we have a cooking class.
Coming up.
Yeah, it's coming up, and it's actually a 2-day workshop, and we will be recording it, so please don't hesitate to sign up. Even if you can't make both days, you can watch the replay. Basically what we do on day 1, we make a broth, and day 2, we make the soups. And it's going to be a whole lot of fun.
It's going to be great.
Yeah. So look for that. It'll be an event on Facebook. We'll advertise an event there. But you can also go to our website at marxculinary.com and look at our live stream classes that we have in our classroom tab, and you'll see those upcoming winter classes. We have even another one. It's a salads class coming up right after that. So I hope we can connect.
We're bringing you content.
We are bringing you content in 2022. Look forward to more content. Healthy, decadence, all the good things. So
Full spectrum.
full spectrum. All right, everyone. We'll see you next time.
Good to see you again.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.